Okay, I'm sorry about that. And I feel that they do have a print of blood. They do have a blood imprint. They're gonna match it to the shoe. Oh God, this is really gross. Okay, let me get back to how the attacks like have happened. Then he went, boom, right upstairs. I believe Zayna put up a fight. I believe there's going to be a lot of maybe even the fingers. Then he went upstairs. It went really quick. It was really brutal, and I don't know how to say this without it being really he was in his element. All that blood, I mean, I seen him stand in there like, and I know this sounds really gross. But he was smelling the blood, he was tasting the blood, and quite honestly, I think they're probably looking everywhere, all the states he went through when he was traveling to school. I feel like he's tipped under like that. He could, and with him it was like with the girls, they were beautiful, and they were everything he wasn't. And he hated that. And he hated that he could never have somebody like them. Somebody beautiful, because quite frankly, anyone that met him was like, this guy's nuts. This guy's off. I'm just going to say it. Everybody's intuitive. I'm more in tune with it because I've been, I was born with it. But even if you weren't, you don't have to be psychic. Have you ever been around somebody and just being in their presence, your hair stood up. You just got this really bad feeling. That's how everybody felt. And you're going to find when court starts, it's going to be quite shocking what's going to come out. It's going to be there's going to be lots of witnesses. I got down here, used right hand. I don't know if he's left or right, but I just got it right. And to something else about the blood. With him, it was like the blood fueled him to go more. Now, after he did, we're getting a little hot. After he murdered the girls, came back downstairs, and I believe that's when, and it's in the probable cause, Dylan heard whimpering and crying, and it was Zana, and I believe she wasn't. He thought he took her out, but he hadn't. He wounded her, and she was. That's when came down and heard her, and Dylan said, and that's how we know that he said this. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm here to help you. Don't worry, I'm here to help you. Wrap your head around that. How diabolical is that? You are going to find, we're going to all find. When it comes back and the evidence starts coming out and they start telling the story, we will know exactly. Mr. Brian, Mr. BK, well, no Mr. BK, this isn't going to be about you like you want it to be. It's going to be about the victims and the innocent lives you took out. Okay. Now, he did take a trophy. I know in probable cause they did find an ID. That came out. I don't know if it was driver's license or ID, but they did have something. I see they took a trophy. I have down here from, you know what, it seems when, I'm sorry guys, it seems when I use, I'm looking for a pen, guys, I'm sorry. That's what's throwing me off. That's what's keeping me, because usually I'm doing this and it gets me out of my head here. Things flow so much better. Okay. Took a trophy. Okay. Now, I don't. I believe he also took one from Kaylee. I believe Kaylee was his focus, but he was focused on them all at that point. He was focusing on their youth, on their popularity, their ability to just talk to anybody. And he just so, you can never have anybody like that, and he so did not like it. Now, I don't know, because I don't know if this came out in probable cause, but I get blood outside of house. It just dawned on me. I just got that image of the blood coming down from the house on the outside. Okay. He washed his car. I see that when he went to open the door, he did get blood on the handle, but he went and he's washed and went over that car. And then when he got home to Pennsylvania, he was doing it all over again. But I still have some. And all that improbable cause came from his phone records. They did a forensic on his phone. They, trust me, they know a lot more than they're giving us. And they're not going to give us all of it. I mean, come on. They are building a case. Death penalty. This is serious business. I mean, okay, getting back to Ted Bundy. Okay, he was nothing like Ted Bundy when it came. Unfortunately, I have to say this, Ted Bundy, he could be very engaging. He had relationships with women that he didn't murder. That is where they're nothing alike when it comes to those things. But when it comes to the brutality of attacks and how merciless that Ted Bundy was, BK does have that. And when the trial starts, we're going to see more evidence. You're going to see, it's not going to be a matter of what we believe or what intuitive we get. They're going to be able to tell their story. They're going to be able to tell who was attacked first. They will be able to give you and it will be in the blood, because there will be a mixture of blood, and that's how they will be able to tell. Oh, the house, demolition of the house, they've been wanting to, that absolutely should not take place until the trial's over. This is a death penalty case. It is always, if it's possible, for jurors to go back and to, I mean, it's one thing to sit in court and see pictures and then to tell you things, but it's another when you actually walk in where it happened. And, you know, you might have thought, well, you thought that room was bigger, that room's a lot smaller. You know, and they need to see, it gives them a better picture. You know, they absolutely need it. Like I said, this is a death penalty case. That house should not be torn down. I don't care how many pictures, crime scene, how many analysts, no, it should not be torn down. I know the students don't like that there, but I think at this point we need to just be mindful and think, we want justice. We want justice for Kaylee, Madison, Ethan, and Zana. They deserve it. And I know we're going to take a hit for this too, but he came in through the sliding door. He did not leave. He went out the front door. And I know in a past reading I saw him eating something. When I was tapped in this time, I got that he ate something. And when I got that image and that he ate something, I immediately was shown that bag with Zana's name on it with her food. She just got her food. I mean, let's just say she got it at 4. I keep getting something about the timeline too. Okay, what about the timeline? He was tracked on surveillance, on doorbell rings, on businesses, and we know he turned his phone off, but he was an idiot and turned it on. I'm not a killer or anything, but I'm going back too on something about the trouble he was in at the school with his teaching, his TA, teacher assistant. I believe he talked to the professors like they were that he was more like the teacher, and he was telling them, because he's just a narcissist, but he's a diabolical one. Okay, and I know I've got this thing about Emma Bailey, and it's very possible, well, yeah, it's very possible Brian knows exactly who she is, but not because he's got her to do anything, or it was a drug deal gone crazy wrong, or, you know, because she supplied drugs, and he would know where to get them. So I believe the connection that I was feeling between those two is because of that. Okay, now I want to go to Dylan and Bethany, and you know, I admit it's puzzled me, and I've thought, what the heck, why would you not? But I'm going to base that as their actions were out of fear. Maybe not, maybe fear is not maybe more terror. Maybe they had been drinking, maybe they weren't, and you know, they were young, and sometimes young kids do stupid shit. And I've told this story before, but I worked for a university police department, and there was a group of students that, you know, I think it was because it was a teaching hospital, and so, you know, but at the time, you know, things like laughing gas they used in surgeries, things like that, they didn't keep those locked up. They kept them down in an electrical room, in a closet, like. But needless to say, these students found it, got it out of the Riley Hospital for Children, got it out, took it back to their dorm room, put it in a rug, snuck it in, saying that, you know, we got a new rug, and long story short, they partied all night, and the students' dorm room where the laughing gas was, he apparently did more after the party ended, and they knocked on his door, and we were called, and he was found. He was deceased. So I know kids do stupid shit. They don't think shit through. They're and also I believe too I'm quite curious if Brian BK had access to computers because you can find a lot out if you get on computer from the school, and you can look up a lot of stuff about students. I'm not saying that's what was done. I'm saying it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all. I'm going to let that go with them. I think it's a lot's going to come out. And you know, even when we go to trial, I'm sure they're going to put Dylan and Bethany both up on the stand. They're going to ask them, what did they hear, what did they see, but then they're going to crucify him. Brian's attorney's going to go at them hard. It's going to be like they're on trial. They're going to try to put the focus away from Brian and focus on them. They're going to try to create doubt. I don't think that's going to happen. I believe his lawyer and Taylor's going to try like... And I know everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But when you see what they had to arrest him, and then with what they released in probable cause, they had a lot on him. They got a lot more. A lot more. They don't want to show their hands all at once. Because I think Brian thinks he's invincible. He thinks he's going to get off. His lawyer is going to try like hell, excuse me, to pick everything apart. Witness it. You're going to pick it all apart. Just going to... I believe it's going to backfire. Yeah, but they're going to try. They're going to try to just muck up the water, and so I absolutely do not think he thought I'm not gonna get off until he learned that they were going up to the death penalty. And I think that kind of shook him, but not for long. Not for long. Because he still thinks he's gonna beat it. He's still Now, I do want to talk to you about, because I was, from the first reading I did, I got a female and a male in the basement. first floor, not basement, I mean, first floor. And that was separate from Brian. And that has sent me questioning. But I had one of my subs, and I thank you for that, commented that there was, because I always called him, he's a creeper peeper, you know, and he has a knife, and, well, there was another creeper peeper that was going around looking in windows, and apparently they arrested him for it, and he did have a knife on him. So perhaps, could that be why I'm picking that up? You have to remember, he was studying a class from an expert in serial killers. He was, and in fact, she, God, I want to say, she wrote a book about BTK, bind, torture, and kill, yeah. I don't know where I want to go with that. It's just a thought. Okay. Yeah, best certain serial killer. The evidence is going to show, you know, and there's, I think the big question is, why were the other two roommates spared? Dylan and Bethany. I personally feel it wasn't because he wasn't capable to do it. I think, maybe perhaps he was a little taken off by Ethan being in there when he bounced in that room and started attacking. I think he just didn't want to be in there longer than a certain amount of time, and plain and simple, that's the only reason they're alive. It wasn't because he was tired out or not capable of it. He was. So, I know a lot of us, you know, and I have had thoughts of, why in the hell didn't you call, and da-da-da, but like I said, after you put yourself as a young kid, and, you know, I mean, what would we rather have? Would we rather have that? I mean, they could have been killed too, so, and I see both of them having, I see, Dylan more so though, really. This is affected, well, it's affected both of them, but, you know, I believe they're scared. I believe Dylan's scared. You know, face it. Sometimes it seems like ones that commit the crimes and have more rights than us. And I know that's to protect the fairness for everyone. You know, my thoughts on his attorney just... Something that when I saw, okay, anytime that I've seen BK sit down in court and interact with the attorney, and I think it's really weird and odd. I mean, he actually will look at her and do a fake smile and just go back to, like, you know, this is really weird. Like I said, I went over this and over this and over this. Brian's the guy. He's the only one. And probable cause pretty much tells that story. I mean, this is going to go on for years. This isn't going to court. Brian will not make a plea deal. At this point, to be honest, I don't think the prosecution would offer him one. No. Let us pray. Let's pray that every dot is I's dotted and T's crossed, because trust me, you're going to have a team of lawyers going over everything. Every little detail, every report. And if just a word was left out or a word was added, or they're going to pick it apart. They're going to pick it apart. They're going to pick Dylan's testimony apart. Bethany. They're going to, you know, how could you see? It was dark. Had you been drink? They're just going to, you know, until it's going to look like, oh God, I'm sorry, my lipstick's messing up. It's going to look like it's going to seem like everybody but it's on trial and being I say hold tight and you know, and there's a lot of things I think that some of us are picking up on with individuals in Moscow, in that little community there. You know, when this first happened, everybody was a suspect. Everybody was, you know, and I know there are many out there that don't believe in psychics. They don't believe. Just don't believe. You know, I watched someone that, you know, I really I really respected and thought your channel was very... And I know you can talk about whatever you want to on your channels, but... Man, he just goes after psychics and tarot readers, and I think what bothers me, it's not... Okay, it doesn't bother me that everybody doesn't believe. You know what bothers me? Is when I hear things like, you know, psychics are just low lives, and what we say to those who've lost children, and da-da-da is just awful, and da-da. And you know, I don't understand that, because that's not at all. You know, everything I say, I'm very mindful with my words. And, you know, I have never done a reading and just... Well, I guess I do a lot of readings for, you know, parents who lost children, or, you know, just people that have lost loved ones. And it's done out of love. You know, the messages, you cannot make this stuff up. You know, I suppose some could. A dark, I guess they could. But I couldn't. I know with my sisters who are psychic, it's not about that. You know, none of us are monetized. None of us get anything. You know, we do the missing children and finding the answers when kids are killed. It's done out of complete love, and you know, it takes an incredible amount of energy. At times it takes you down paths you don't want to go. It takes you into energy that's bad. It affects you. And you have to always stay on top of it. So what we do isn't always pleasant, but on the opposite side of that is great comfort and beautiful messages from the other side. And I've said this over and over again. I cannot speak for anyone else. I can only speak for me. It all comes from love and light. And I know this reading might not have been what a lot of you think. But it's what I got, and I you know, so I have to trust spirit. Now, can I get something wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. We are not, we're human. You know, we are given the information. And the Spirit uses like images or experiences that you've had in your life to show you what they want to show you and get your attention on. Now, could I be given a message and could I get it wrong? Yes. And I'm going to tell you, I gave my friend Kay a reading. Mostly because I was going there one night, still night, and, you know, sometimes, I don't know, for me driving, I don't know, Spirit seems to pop in with stuff then, and by the time I got to her house, you know, I was already getting things, and I told her, I said, we're going to do a reading on you tonight. And I did. And I told her. I saw a heart. I saw pumping. And, I was told it's not pumping right. It's not beating the right rhythm. I told Kay this, and I told her that she didn't go to the doctor. It wasn't long after that her 38-year-old son came home from work. Said he didn't feel good. And just like that, stood up, fell over, heart attack, took his life like that. 38 years old. So, do we get things wrong? Yeah. And nobody beats me up worse than I beat myself up. And, you could say 100 things right, and then you say one thing that wasn't right, and that's what everybody focuses on. So yes, I do interpret things at times, and that was a big one. So when I do readings, and I'm coming to you all, and I'm putting it out on YouTube, I'm not doing it for clicks. I'm not doing it for subs. I'm truly not. It's never been that for me. The channel grew from the loss of my daughters, and I thought I could help people. And then in that process, all this came. And I've always been like this. And when I went into junior high, maybe high school, I actually told my guys that they had to go away, that I couldn't talk with them anymore because people would think I was nuts. I mean, that's ironic. I didn't realize how much I was in spirit in my youth, but I pushed it away because of what others could think and say. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh. I was with my Bianca, my childhood friend, the one's going to Delphi. And we're talking, and you know, I talk to her a lot about stuff. And she said to me, she says, you know, Kim, you were always into spirit. You know, when we were young kids growing up, all you talked about was spirit. And she says, you know, it freaked me out back then, because I didn't understand it. Oh my God, she was right. I've let my fear of what other people would think of that, I've let it affect me, and after finding my way back to it, I could never put it down again. I could never push spirit away again. Anyways, I don't know what kept me going on all that. Is there anything else I want to say? You know, I don't want to, I swear, anytime I go, oh, I'm going to get this up tomorrow, or life throws something in on me, so I don't want to, you know, I believe it's very close, like probably the end of the week, whether if we don't get any storms, we are going to Delphi, and that's going to be, and the girl that we are taking with us, she's just been very interested in it. You know, anybody that's in Indiana, you know, really affected us, especially a small town. I gotta stop or I'll go on, because that case. But anyways, so as soon as I get that, I will do the read on it, and I will walk you through every step of the way. And it's not just, it will be every step of the way with what we know was in probable cause, what we know they got on Richard Allen. And I will say, okay, I will say this, because this should really surprise me, and I kind of want to get it out there, because I don't want anybody to come back and go, well, somebody said that. Okay. When I was going through and looking at probable cause, what they took, search warrant, what they took out of his house, all the knives, and there were a lot of them. Looked like the same blue jacket he wore on the bridge, all that. I heard very strongly, very clear, Spirit said, they have the knife he used. So I believe they have the knife they used. They've got a lot on him too, so he's not going anywhere. But okay, guys, I know this has been long. Oh God, I'm sorry. Getting everything together. And I love you, and until I see you next time, I always send you love and light always.